Rubber ducky. What's going on? Welcome to the world's best airsoft collection. You know they're not airsoft, right? Panorama action. Arizona kid. Supper's ready. I don't even feel like getting a gun table, man. I just figured we'll do it this way. Only because I was watching YouTube and I figured some people might want to see firearms and not Nerf guns or just pictures of guns. So. What'd you make for supper? Are you able to hear me okay? Got guns for days. Guns for me, guns for you. Guns for everybody but the commies in California and the commie YouTubers. I think that answers your question right there, right? With noodles. Arizona kid, I don't think I ever asked you. Are you married? You got kids? I'm doing good, man. Kill a little time. I haven't done a live in, I don't know, probably about a week or so. And I didn't feel like setting up a table, so I'm like, I'll just go set the camera in front of the safe. Yeah, it's night here, man. It's almost 9 o'clock. A Diago? I don't know what a Diago is. I'm always up for a joke. Is it going to be something racist or sexist? Because them are the best ones usually. What is the best going to have? I'm not sure what you're asking, man. So Pearface, let's hear this joke. Unless you're typing. You'd have to describe what do you mean the best. All firearms have a purpose or a place. They're a tool. So some tools are better at at certain jobs than others. So you'd have to. My best pistol, a competition pistol, or a carry gun, or just a shooting gun. I have several race guns. Can't really see them real well because of the way the camera is, but they're on the channel. There's one there and one there. I mean, that's almost $6,500 between the two pistols. So that would probably be the two nicest competition guns I have. Remember for USPSA, open division, shooting with a scope, like long distance shooting or target shooting or what? All right, Arizona Kid, man, I'll catch you later. You have a good night. If your mom's still around, tell her I said Happy Mother's Day. So I had guns starting, I think I was about 8 years old. And from about 18, 19 years old till I was about 20, I didn't really buy anything. And then I've been collecting since. So, over 30 years. So long distance, I would usually pick that rifle there. That's a Savage 10 FLP. It's a heavy bull barrel 308. Or I'd pick the Remington 700 right there, SPS. Or if I wanted to punch through an armored vehicle, I'd pick the Barrett right there in front. I do not have a Glock 19. I have Glock 26, a couple Glock 43Xs, Glock 44, a Glock 22, a couple Glock 17s, Glock 34. I feel like I'm forgetting something. Yeah, I feel like I'm forgetting something. I don't know what, but yeah. I don't know, I got like 7 Glocks, but no, I do not own a Glock 19. I'm not a big fan of Glock 19s. It's kind of a weird gun. I'm older than 30. You changed your name, John? Shooter Wanks now? Explosives are highly regulated. So, I'm showing you private collection, I wouldn't admit to it if I did. But I don't. In case ATF is watching. No, I don't. I follow the laws. All local, state, and federal laws compliant. So don't shoot my dogs. What is the rare gun that you have seen, but you have not been to fire? So that's an interesting question, because if you want to talk about the rarest guns I've seen, I've been to the Rock Island Armory Museum, and that's the test and prototype and proving grounds for the United States military. So everything from #1 Grand all the way up to some of the weirdest stuff you've ever seen, I've personally seen there. I've also been to the NRA Firearms Museum. So again, There's more things than I could even sit here and try to think about, you know. Figured Shooter would be better actual YouTube channel name than John. I don't know. I kind of like John Winks. I thought it was funny. Shot 1,500 rounds at 22 long rifle. Did you get that Taurus? That was a TX22. Yeah, Arizona kid, man. I'm fucking. Don't even get frustrated with the views because YouTube is 100% suppressing all gun content. So how'd it run with 1,600 rounds? I'm gonna guess. Let me ask you this before you tell me. What were you shooting for ammunition? Because then I'll bet I can figure out roughly how many malfunctions you had, or I'll be close. Arms core jacket and hollow point. Copper bullets or lead? I'm not real familiar with Arms Core 22 ammunition. And did you lube it? Did you wipe it out and lube it, or did you just leave it the way it came from out of the box? That's the British bullpup, right? The SA90. I don't have I don't have that. I would bet 20 malfunctions, unless there's issues like you said with loading. I mean, I would guess probably first 4 megs, you probably had 3 or 4, and to probably 800 rounds, it probably ran damn near perfect. And I would guess after about 800 rounds, you started having a lot of failure to extract or failure to chamber. Hey, Woo, how are you doing, man? So on new guns, John, generally the best thing to do is you wipe them out and you run the gun dry for a couple hundred rounds, and then wipe it out again, and then lube it. The guns will run damn near perfect forever. Then they have to, the surfaces have to mate, right? They gotta break in, mate to each other. So you can either do that, you know, at home, just manually psyching a firearm, you know, a few hundred times, or God, man, sorry for not coming streams. I won't sweat it. I don't think I've done any since last time you were on. But yeah, you gotta let them surfaces mate, then wipe it and rub it together, or lube it and let them run. Nope, I don't have an FN 2000 either. I found that, and that's why I'm saying it is to apply a shooter's choice right away. It's too slick in the gun until you start running it dry and give that thing a chance to mesh together. You have issues. All right, Woo, I'll catch you another time, man. You be good. All right, man. Take care. I'll catch you another time. So I will generally take the gun home, wipe it out dry, and then I'll sit there and manually cycle it a few hundred times. you're doing the same thing, manually cycling it, as actually firing it. And then I'll lube it. So I very, 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 very rarely take a firearm right out of the package and directly shoot it. I generally take them home, and I'll manipulate it hundreds of times before I even put a round through it. You know, I'll cycle it, I'll dry fire it if it's not a rim fire, right? Dry fire it, I'll work the safeties, I'll work the magazine release to break the gun in. I don't like to do it on the range. It makes it a lot easier, and then I actually can observe what's going on. I can feel if there's rough spots where the slide is binding or the magazine recoil spring is binding. A lot of times, depending on what I get, you know, I'll end up saying, okay, this magazine spring is too heavy, I'll change that. I don't like the way the recoil spring is, change that. So me personally, I generally hand cycle it hundreds of times before I put the first round through it, but that's not saying I haven't. I buy a gun and I'm planning on going to the range, so I'm going to go right to the range, but usually I don't go right to the range. .805 Bren, nope, no 805 Bren. I am digging your taste in guns, though. I mean, a little hard to see. There's a real nice Saiga 12 back there. Sitting next to it in the wrap is a M1A. And show you right there is a PS90. Can't really see it. So I usually don't show the safe. My safe's full. My other safe, I have nice Thompson. I have a Protein AK. I got some Milsurp stuff, but this is my main safe. This is the one that I generally use everything out of. A TAR 21. Nope. I think, not sure what country you're in, but a lot of that stuff, it's not very common. Real nice Springfield Hellion though, right there. Can't see it, but there's a nice MP5 clone sitting back on the left side. That's a nice MP5 clone. There's something you may notice. See if you recognize that. Or, where is it? You can't really see it very well. There's a real 416 back there, HK 416. There. And back there's a HK 416. I'm left-handed, so a lot of them guns you're talking about, they're all right-handed firearms. So I don't own any bullpups that are right-handed only. Mine are either bottom eject or they're ambidextrous, like my Springfield Hellion. I can switch left to right side on that. My PS90 is a bottom eject. I have 416. Yeah. Yep. I got that back in 2012. That was actual HK 416 that was imported. They only imported the real 416. It was less than 6 months they were bringing them in. Now they're all like MR something, but it's not really that nice of a rifle, to be honest. It's overpriced. I only hang on to it because of the value of it. Bring you up a little bit here. It's a real nice BSA L1A1. You can kind of see the 416 back there, I guess, right there. Do you know the Tree best handgun? What do you mean, Tree? The 3? Again, that would be a question, like the best service pistol, the best competition pistol, the best carry pistol, you know, best fighting pistol. There's a Desert Eagle right back there. A little shelf there. So, right there. Y'all do me a favor if you're watching. Double tap that screen, put some likes on these these lives for me. A bunch of you just dipped out, but if you haven't put a like on this, please do. It would be very solid of you. YouTube hates gun content. I had some people asking me if I was going to do a live, and I wasn't planning on it, but I had a couple people ask, so I figured we'd do one. But you know, if you're talking like the best 3 service pistols of all time, you'd have to pick, of course, the 1911. You'd have to pick a Tokarev, and probably, and I hate to say it, but probably a Beretta. That would probably be the 3 best service pistols. Or fighting handgun. Even saying the Tokarev in there is kind of a hard pill, but they're actually really good guns. Joker, how are you doing? Do me a favor, man. Put a like on this live for me. I appreciate you jumping in here and saying what's up. No MG4. I like where you're at, though. I would love to own one. Yep, I got a bunch of AKs. Like I said, my Pro-China is in the other safe. I got one that's built there. Next to it back there is an underfold. There's a crank right there. Sega 12 right there. And there's some RPKs in the corner. I guess I can show you them. There's 2 RPKs in the back corner. So, how about this? RPK 1, RPK 2. So yeah, I got AKs. The nice one's in the other safe though. This is the safe of stuff we use. So this stuff comes in and out frequently. It's all easy to get at. Some of it's just fun stuff, like a lot of the pistols are different competition guns. Some of the stuff's just for playing, but nope, no 45 gap. That's kind of a dead cartridge. I have a couple 40 cal semi-automatic pistols, a couple 45s, some 22s, and a bunch of 9s. And of course, I got the revolvers and 357 and whatnot. A Desert Eagle and 44 Magnum or 50 AE, depending on which barrel you put in it. If you guys are watching, man, it's all right. You don't want to jump in and add anything to the chat, but do me a favor. Double tap that screen and put a like up on this live for me. I'd appreciate it. How do I have so many guns? It's easy, one at a time. I don't ever sell guns, I buy them. I use them for a while, and when I get bored with it, I move on to something else. So, like I said, a lot of the pistols and PCCs and shotguns and stuff is all stuff we use for competition. So, I have a couple kids, so, I mean, they're all my guns, but, there's guns in here the kids use too. So watching a live and not putting a like on it is kind of like not having the common courtesy to give a reach around. So if you guys are watching the live, man, throw a like up on it. Nope, I don't have any SIG 550s. I think you probably play a lot of video games, huh? Like Call of Duty and Modern Warfare and stuff. Yeah. I can tell by what you're asking about. Which is cool. I mean, I'm too old to play video games, but I definitely have the cool guns for it. Yeah, STG 44. No, I don't own an STG 44. Again, a lot of the stuff you're listing isn't very common. Especially the STG 44. Although I was watching a documentary a couple hours ago, and they were showing crates of them in Syria with ammunition. Just crates and crates full of them. I don't know what that is. SAV-58. Are you talking the VZ-58? No, I don't have one of them either. I mean, there's a Barrett. You're not impressed with the Barrett? How many other gun lives have you ever seen that somebody's pulling out a Barrett, a 50 cal? M4A1? Yes. Sitting back there. I see it. So, yep, that I have. I actually have a couple. Here, I'm gonna grab something once. I gotta turn the camera for a second because we can't handle firearms on lives. So. There. How about that? HK 416's in the back. I showed you that. Well, what I could of it. P99. I don't know what a P99 is. P90? FNP90? Or the... Nope, no USP 45s. Nope, no Glock 18s. Like I said, the 416, that's sitting in there, sitting next to the... I half covered it up now. That's sitting next to the AK. Glock 18s, there's only a few of them on the transferable market, so very few people are going to have a legal Glock 18. Yeah, the Desert Eagle's in 44 Magnum. That's got a barrel. You change the barrels, you can go from 44 Mag to, to 50 Action Express. IMP 45. I don't know what IMP 45 is. The UMP? Yeah, I have one. I'll show you on a laser. It's next to the crank. See the barrel, mine's carbine. Sitting back there. Sitting right there is the UMP 45. I don't know what an MP9 is. I don't know what the PP990M1 is either. I have OTB. I don't know what. I mean, you're losing me, man. I don't know what you mean. Hot B? I don't. All right, man. I appreciate you hanging out, uh, joining in the chat. Ammo, what's going on? Man, I stepped out for a minute. You guys all showed up. John, I'm here, man. I don't know if you guys still are. Sorry, I stepped out. No. Back. Back. Well, there's still 5 of you here, so at least say hi, what's up? Move the picture a little. Not a sponsor. What's up, man? How are you doing? That was big for a Saturday for you. I started the live and it really wasn't doing shit, so I stepped out in the other room for a little while. I come back in. A few people showed up while I was gone, so maybe they'll come back, maybe they won't. Grabbing Taco Bell. Well, 10 o'clock on a Saturday night, you're brave. Might just have a early breakfast tomorrow, huh? What are you doing for Mother's Day? Breakfast in bed for the wife. Are you feeding her your breakfast sausage? Are you actually making her breakfast in bed? There you go. Breakfast and second breakfast. I think my wife has work she has to do. So I'm taking my daughter and myself. We're going to go shooting. My oldest is going to come over in the afternoon. We're going to get the big smoker out when I get back and make some dinner. I'm not sure if my middle son's even going to be home. He's in Chicago right now. Went and played a concert. Yukon, how are you doing? Speaking of my son, I think he just pulled in, my oldest. Hey, Gage, or Che. What are you doing? What's up? You ain't handing it through the window like I'm selling dope, man. I'll be back in about 3 minutes. My oldest just showed up. Yeah, that's not. What are you looking for? You can come in if you want. Don't mind the box of Kleenex. I was definitely not in here looking at porn. I lied. That's the lie. Let's turn the camera. Toby came. I heard you pull up, so. Yeah. I'm gonna go shooting, so I would say late afternoon. Okay. And if you get here before I'm back, you know where everything is. Okay. Alright. I love you. Love you too. I'll see you later. I'll see you tomorrow. Sure, good thing I wasn't in here looking at pornography or something. Trying to talk to text when other people are around making noise. That's always a good time. You never know how shit's gonna come out then, huh? So this was my effort because I was too lazy to set up a table or something. I just figured I'd do this. So Yukon, what's big with you? How'd your day go? Stupid say hi button. Yeah. So I still have a few more days before I can post on my main channel again. Fucking YouTube. I shouldn't talk about it because every time I do, I get a strike on a channel over the shit. But my last strike was literally I had my 2 dogs playing and I videotaped it. They said it was hate speech. I've been trying to figure out what they mean about hate speech because it was just 2 dogs playing. Nobody was saying anything. And I kind of figured it out because it was hate or supremacy and stuff. That's how they word it. I'm half thinking because it was a white dog beating up on a black dog that's what they got me on. I really hope it wasn't that fucking gay, but it's only I don't really know what else it could have been. Hate speech. Dude, you know the fucked up thing was is I appealed, I lost the appeal, and then I contacted them. And I sat there and went round and round and round, and they basically told me that they reviewed it and there's nothing they can do. I said, okay, fine. Just tell me how I violated it. Just tell me how 2 dogs playing violated it. And they said it was violated for being hate speech, white supremacy, all this stuff. I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? It was 2 dogs playing. It was 2 dogs wrestling over a bone. How could it be white supremacy? And that's when I started thinking, because it was a white dog beating up on a black dog. You're calling it hate speech. What the fuck? YouTube's out of control. I think it would. I don't know. I don't want to say too much because they'll just hit me again. Makes no sense. I don't understand it. And the more I try to figure it out, the more it doesn't make sense. I read through all their community guidelines and shit, and it makes sense. What they're saying I can't do, I understand I can't do that. So I don't do it. But they come out with some off the wall, left hand fucking just stupid shit, man. But whatever. Maybe next time I'll tell them it can't be hate speech because my dog identifies as a cat or as a kangaroo. Or maybe if it's the white dog beating up on my black dog, I can just say they're pretending to be cops and robbers. Maybe that would be okay. Go over there and kneel on its neck for a little while. What'd you get from Taco Bell? Not a sponsor. Bean burrito. 10 o'clock. You're brave, man. You really are brave. An arsenal of confusion. What do you mean by that? Why would I carry them all? lot of what I own is for some sort of competition or another. Or things like right there when you see 3 of them, well, one belongs to me, one belongs to my middle son, and one belongs to my oldest son. So my everyday carry isn't even in here. It's just a Glock 26, Gen 5 Glock 26. Giving your wife methane cuddles tonight. You got to be careful because if she's going to eat breakfast in bed tomorrow, you may not want to gas her out. As far as rifle, it depends what I'm doing with it. So if I'm shooting 2-gun or 3-gun, that rifle is actually downstairs right now. I cleaned it. Long range rifle, I use my heavy barrel AR. That one I shoot out to 600 yards. I got 308s that if I want to shoot a bolt gun, I'll run the 308s. If I want to punch holes through something, I use the 50 cal. That would probably be my Bushmaster. That's upstairs. Just a Bushmaster carbine, say A3 configuration, A2 configuration actually. Fixed carrying handle, 16-inch barrel. 1-in-9 twist, chrome lined, collapsible stock. Pretty, basic go to war gun. Everybody has different ideas of what shit the hit fan is, Anybody that would bug out full of tactical gear, they're just going to be a target in a real end of world scenario or end of the world law as you know it. Them type of scenarios, you'd be better off with some old ratty, clothes, a discreet book bag, and some gear that you can hide on you underneath, not easily seen. You go walking down the country road and you're all tacked out with a nice carbine, you're going to be a target. So I don't own guns because I'm thinking of a world order without law. Them type of scenarios. I mean, unless you're already out in an urban area, and I don't mean you live 10 miles outside of a city, you're kind of fucked. Yep, just look as plain Jane as you can. Take an old set of like ratty overhauls and a half torn up backpack, and that's how you're going to make your escape if you had to leave on foot. Otherwise, you'd be a target. And even with that, you'd be a target. If you were in a small group, you may have some additional benefits, but you're just going to be targeted from a larger group. If you're solo, you're definitely going to be targeted, Real world shit, if you're not bugging in, you're fucked, But again, that's different things in different places. Like you go out west where there's earthquakes and wildfires, that's a whole nother scenario. And if you can carry 30, 40, 50 pounds of gear and your house is burning down, are you really going to take your rifle and a bunch of ammunition, or are you going to take the important shit, your documents and stuff? If you live, down on the south or east coast of the, America, and there's hurricanes, what would you take? It's a whole different thing. People think of firearms as I'm going to war, a Red Dawn type thing. Realistically, if you have kids and stuff, you're probably going to carry a firearm, but let's be honest, you're going to be taking water and food. you know. Yeah, keeping it simple and meek. You don't want to be the guy with a brand new backpack, even if it's just like a school backpack. You want old, ratty, torn up shit so it looks like you have nothing of value. But again, like I said, everybody's scenario is different. You know, the easiest scenarios we could say that way is like I said, with hurricanes or the massive wildfires. You know, a massive wildfire where you can get out in a vehicle, that's gives you a few more options. A hurricane, you got plenty of notice that you can really, you know, get rid of some shit. But you got to remember, when everybody evacuates from hurricanes, they expect to be returning to their home. You know, I don't know where most of you guys live, but if you're talking, you know, your next town is 30 minutes away, realistically, you're not going to survive in that anyway. You have to get away from every major city there is in the state I live in. Uh, it's not an unpopulated state. So again, the idea would be bug in, you know. Yeah, see, so your scenario is different too, but even with that, you wouldn't be packing out somewhere, you'd stay in, you know. But yeah, John, you have to quit changing your name. If I hadn't caught that you changed your name to Winks, I wouldn't have even realized it was you. Yeah, we've been living in dark times since the 40s. Nothing's really changed. America's a target. American citizens are a target. The possibility of, you know, our electrical grids, our water supplies, our food supplies all being attacked, it's 100%. It's going to happen. You know, that's modern warfare. What we're seeing in Ukraine is like a blip. When this shit finally settles down, you're not going to be seeing warfare like that anymore. You know, modern warfare is all cyber shit, infrastructure, attacking the citizens through the power grids and communications. You know, yeah. Even like in our country now, of seeing like the riots that we were seeing in 2016, them are a thing of the past. You're not going to see that shit again. You know, COVID, that was definitely attack. I think we would see that again. I think it was a attack, and the American government wanted to see how far they could push things on the citizens to know what they could get away with. So Rob, this is actually my B channel. Probably, maybe you heard me, but my A channel is on a strike right now. I played a video of my two dogs playing, and I got a hate speech strike for it. So Oh, power grid's going to collapse. You know, easiest ways to wage war on American citizens is collapse the power grid, collapse the utilities, so power, water, sewer, and then go after finances. I mean, part of it, wouldn't it be cool if you woke up tomorrow and the lights were off, but all your debt was gone? You know, that'd be cool for about 2 days. By day 3, it would be complete anarchy. So that's how modern warfare is. Think about it like this: warfare of any kind, it isn't about taking ground or losing ground or how many enemy combatants you can kill. It's about breaking the will of the people. You start stacking bodies and it starts personally affecting citizens, and they start pressuring the government for change. You know, that's the purpose of warfare. It's not about the number of bodies you count, it's about how quick you can take the will to fight out of the citizens. People losing their power grid, their communication, water, fresh water, you know. You go to the bank because you want your money because there's no power and you can't get any of your money because they have no record of it. The banks are all down. Yeah, they are. They've been targeting me. So my other channel hit full monetization, and as soon as I hit full monetization, they got me on 2 strikes. The first strike, I had a live and I had some kids in there and they were talking about self-harm, so I reported them. And a day later, I got a strike for child harm. So I reported the kids because they said they were gonna unalive themselves, and so then I got in trouble for child harm, which made no sense. I reported them. How did I get in trouble? And then number 2, it was about a month later, and I put a video up of my 2 dogs playing. They were kind of wrestling over a bone, and I got it for hate speech, for white supremacy, targeting protected groups or individuals. It was a white American bulldog wrestling with a brindle American bulldog, and they called that hate speech. So I'll be honest, you know, if everything went down and the world turned into chaos, I would be a Viking. I'd rob and pillage and burn the village, man. And honestly, that's the mentality you'd have to have. There isn't no acceptable norms anymore. The kindness and the being courteous, and you know, in a rural end of the world scenario, it's king of the jungle shit, you know. The whole idea of I'm gonna band with 12 other people and you know our chances of survival are better. No, they're not, because that's 12 other people that you got to worry about offing you when you're sleeping because they want your share of the sandwich. Warlord of Wellington. Yeah, I agree with that. There's a lot of stuff that uh, citizens aren't aware of. Shadow, how are you doing? Not a sponsor. Why'd you erase your message, man? May have to change your name to Warlord of Wellington. I kind of like that. culture isn't your costume. I'm not entirely sure what you mean by that. But Shadow, how are you doing, man? How'd your day go? Appreciate you stopping in. Guys, do me a favor if you just came in the chat or you're peeking through the window there at it, double tap that screen, put a like up on this. Liking's free, doesn't cost you nothing. I'll tell you this about humans, right? So think about this. Think about how dirty a family will get when there's money involved. You know, a parent or a grandparent passes away, and suddenly brothers and sisters are turning on each other for money. How do you think it would be when you're sleeping outside in the cold or you're kicking in doors in a house to sleep inside while it's raining and there's not enough food for everybody? You can't trust people with money. How are you going to trust them with something that sustains your life? You know, I trust my kids. I wouldn't even go as far as saying I trust my wife, but my kids are good. That's why for me, personally, and my family, you know, my kids all know how to shoot. They're exceptionally, they're good, especially for their age. My oldest is an incredible shooter. Um, he's got a degree in paramedics, so he can do emergency medicine, um, which would be important. My kids are all into martial arts, so firearms don't mean a whole lot to somebody. You know, I could tell you how I grew up on a farm, so I could plant crops and stuff, but in an end of the world scenario, nobody's going to sit in one place long enough to grow crops. You know, what do they estimate? Like 6 months, 80% of the world population would be gone in a real end of the world scenario. You know, within 3 months, I guess like 60% would be gone. So, you know, like I said earlier, I don't own firearms because I think that's how I'm going to survive that in the world. I own firearms because I enjoy shooting. Yeah, firearms are, I mean, it's just what they are. I enjoy shooting competitions, so I have them. Benjamin, how are you doing, man? How'd your day go? Firearms in my household are common. They always have been. You know, my kids are all into competition shooting. My daughter's probably the least skilled, but she's getting better. She's good with a rifle. That's what she shoots the most is a rifle. But she's shooting pistol now, and she's actually pretty good for her age. Yep, a lot of airsoft guns, man. You got me. Got the coolest collection of airsoft though on the internet. You don't have to worry about typos, man. When I type, I look like I'm drunk, dyslexic, speaking Chinese. I'm good. Saturday, my wife and daughter are gone. They should be home. They should have been home already. My middle son's in Chicago playing a concert. So just chilled. Yeah, I don't know if you were in here, but I was saying the exact same thing. You know, unless you're out in the boonies, and then boonies doesn't mean I got to drive a half hour to the city. Um, you're not going nowhere. You're better off staying in. I mean, not even peeking out your windows for like the first 30 days. So, man, the part of state I live in, I'm surrounded by a massive lake a block from me, and then 30 miles on the other side of that massive lake is a Great Lake. So there's no going that way. To the west of me, um, there's a town every 25 to 30 minutes. To the north, it gets extremely densely populated for about an hour and a half north, and then going south, um, I mean, pretty much all the way to Chicago is densely packed. So there's no bugging out. You could, if you had to leave the city, you could walk out. Uh, but even if you're in the country, there's everybody from the city is going to be going somewhere. They're going to raid the town, and once the shit's gone there or burnt there or whatever, the body starts stinking. Then where they go, they all leave. You know, a normal person can travel 25 miles in a day, roughly, if they're not very motivated. So you look at all these people that are mass exiting countries, and look at the distance they travel. You got access to a boat, yeah. I don't think anybody's going to come up and take anything from me. I'm not saying they wouldn't pry it out of my hands, but nobody's going to come up and take anything. But again, that's not why I own firearms. I mean, honest chat is honest chat. That people's idea end of the world is all different. Real end of the world scenarios that we could think of as citizens would be major earthquakes and non or unknown fault lines. Could be, an eruption, something like uh, Yellowstone super volcano could erupt that would take out 90% of the country. You know, realistically, end of the world thing for citizens would be something like COVID times 10. You know, that's probably the most likely scenario to an end of the world as people know it. It'd be something like a super bug, something like COVID, but 10 times deadlier that spreads like Ebola, super fast. What do they call it? Cycle in the disease to when you get infected to when you die, and super contagious. That's everything in life. Somebody's always got more, and somebody's always willing to put that extra work in. So, like I said, that's not why I own firearms. A lot of people think that's why people have guns. I have guns because I enjoy shooting them. I don't know. I'm not a sponsor. Sometimes people, I mean, they honestly believe that. So that's fine. I mean, people are always entitled to believe what they think. And what I always do is I encourage them to go to the channel. Obviously, on this channel, I have just as much other crap as shooting, but they can always, if they think there is stuff, they can always go to the channel because most of them are being shot in the channel. You may have to look for the videos, but almost everything has been shot on the channel. Yeah, I won't disagree with that. Like I tell people, you know, I show you this stuff. This is the stuff we use. You know, this is one of 4 safes I own. I don't show any NFA stuff on my channels. My very first channel I had for years, that was all what it was. I was showing belt feds, I was showing launchers. I had SMGs on there and shit, and YouTube a couple years ago when they changed all their shit, they struck that channel down. So, being that was what they had a problem with, I've tried to be compliant and not show that. So, like I said before too, I'm not concerned about what people see. You know, be stupid to think like the ATF hasn't come across my channels, as they have. But everything I own is legal. Everything I own, probably 98% of it, 95% of it is all purchased on 4473s. So for me personally, and people ask this, I don't care if they see the guns because they know I still have them. There's been times where I've bought 10 guns in a week, and there's been times where I bought 1 gun in a year. So, you know, and all the multiple gun purchases, hey, there they are. You can see them, you know. So I don't worry about that very much. A lot of people get weird about people knowing they own firearms. You know, we shoot competitions almost every week. So my name is out there. It's all public information. I'm not the only one that records matches or posts videos. Probably 60% of the people at least that shoot competitions are all law enforcement. Which is funny because I really enjoy beating them guys. I don't care if I don't win matches as long as I beat every cop there. That's always a little rewarding to me. So quiet. You guys are gonna get me a strike again, spewing all that hate speech. But yeah, if you would, man, you guys double tap that screen if you haven't. I get amazed sometimes. I watch some of these lives and the people aren't even there. All they do is they put like a picture of a gun, ain't even something cool. You know, ain't even cool like a fucking Barrett. And they'll sit and leave that live go for 12, 13, 14 hours. I don't understand why people watch that. Some dude that thought he was a chick. Yeah. Yeah. Cowboy, how are you doing? See, there they are again talking that white supremacy. I can't believe they gave me a strike for that. That absolutely trips me out when I think about it. Blue hair and all. I'm pretty sure that stuff's a mental disease and it can be, what's the word, lobotomized out of a person. Next weekend we shoot. Saturday we got to go to southern Wisconsin. We shoot a pistol match, a USPSA match. And then on Sunday we have to go to middle Wisconsin and shoot a steel challenge match. And the following Saturday we shoot a 2-gun match, pistol and rifle. Someone, I don't know what you're trying to say, not a sponsor. It's making me feel like I'm having a stroke trying to read that. Hey, April. If you guys just jumped in this live, double tap that screen. Unless you want to go see some blue-haired dude that thinks he's a chick, or somebody eating live octopus. Or the best one is that crazy chick that's got all the dolls. That one's a classic. What's up, Harley?
Hi.
Your brother was here a little while ago.
I know he was. I've been talking to him on the phone.
He's coming over to make.
Mom's told me.
Yeah.
Cordon Bleus.
You can say hi.
Hi, everybody.
Not a sponsor's in here.
Hi, not a sponsor. Is Orange Smoke?
No, Orange Smoke's not in here.
There's all in here. Not a sponsor.
Yukon.
I haven't met Yukon.
John Wanks was. I don't know if he still is. Shed Owl.
What?
Rob. Arizona Kid was here earlier.
Oh, you guys got some. You got a pretty nice group of fans that watch you.
Yeah.
What the heck is that? There's nothing over.
He's looking for. No. That's probably a good thing. There's certain things a man doesn't want to scroll across. And a dude with blue hair, that's one of them. A old crazy lady talking to dolls, that's... I admit, I watched her for like 30 seconds. And it's... that one always kind of is like weird. But there's a bunch of really weird people that do lives. I'm probably in the same boat, right? But I know for me personally, when I do lives or I talk about firearms, I say I don't know a lot. I don't like to bullshit people. Doing black magic. I don't know if I've seen any of them doing black magic. I've seen them doing like the fortune telling and shit. But yeah. My daughter always comes when she sees a live, she'll always ask who's in here. I think Orange Smoke's her new favorite friend because he sponsored a bunch of her matches, which is really cool. When she picks up a sponsor for the match, that just means she gets to shoot more. So it's always cool when people help with that. But that last match we shot, Gage and Harley both had match sponsors. So for me, that's cool because they're helping with it. And for the kids, they take a little bit even more serious because they're not just burning my money now, they're burning burning somebody else's money, so they try even harder and they get a little pep in their step. So that's good. Harley's simple though. If you tell her she can do some mag dumps, she loves you for the day. That's her favorite thing in the world, is just doing mag dumps. So like I did with my oldest sons, we go out and we're just shooting for practice and stuff. We'll go out and I'm serious about it, right? Let's work on our fundamentals the best we can. Then I usually try to do some things that are uncomfortable, movement or target size or something that's maybe not fun, right? It's discipline. And then at the end of the day, when we're all done, when it's time to pack up, I'll let them do mag dumps and guns and let them get good and hot. And then usually by the time the gun's all cooled off and can go back in a case, everything's packed up. Grenade Peterson. That's not a bad name, I guess. But I'm trying to get her to want to shoot this rifle match with me. She can shoot an AR if she has to, but she doesn't like how loud they are. We can't use cans in the match because it won't pick up on the timers. So we're gonna go shooting tomorrow, and I'm gonna see if I can't get her a little more comfortable with an AR. I don't know which one I'm gonna have her do. I'll probably put a blast mitigation device on it so it puts the sound forward, and see if that doesn't help. But otherwise, she won't be shooting that 2-gun match. But what time is Gage back? So Silverback, do you have kids already? Bend over. That'd have been cruel, man. Think about all these kids. Like, I knew a guy, his last name was Harry, and his first name was Dick. I knew another guy, his last name is Cox, and his brother's name was Carey. So it was Harry Cox. His name was Cliff, but his brother's name was Harry, that's fucked up. You gotta almost hate your kid because they're, I suppose if it doesn't kill them, it's just gonna make them stronger. A name says a lot for people. That's a name for naming a kid. It should be something unique and different. It's maybe not real common. Bob Bone. That's fucking awesome. My daughter and my wife hated it, but I wanted to name her Mary Jane, not because of a pothead or anything, but because I actually liked the name. And she wouldn't let me do it, so I named her Harley instead. Yep.
Why wouldn't it be Mary and then middle name Jane and then...
Because then people would just call you Mary instead of Mary Jane. I thought it was a cool name. I still think it's a cool name. But if y'all haven't, do the normal plug here. Double tap that screen, throw a like on this live. Stick it to YouTube overlords. Show them that even though they don't like gun content, that we want to see more gun content. Is that Elodie or Elodie? April, how would you say this name? Elodie. I like that name. Looks Alexander Luther. That's my wife. She wanted to name our first son Alexander. With our first, I made the deal with the wife that if it was a boy, I would get the first name and she would get the middle name. And that's how we got the name Che. I named him after a friend of mine. And then we did the same deal with our second kid, which was Gage. I named him Gage. And then our daughter, I thought I'd be nice, right? Like, I just had 2 sons. I figured the third one would be a boy. I'm like, well, I'll tell you what. Why don't you take the first name this time, and I'll take the middle name if it's a boy. And I said if it's a girl, then I get the first name, and it was a girl, so I named him Harley. But you yeah, you want your kids to stand out. That's a good thing in life. You give your kid a cool name and a unique name. Number one, people will generally remember that name easier than, well, that's Mike, or that's Frank or whatever. You give them a name that sticks out, and it gives them a little confidence. Roman's a good name too. I like that. My wife has gotten mad for years because I always name, like when we get dogs and stuff, I always name the dogs. Ladisha or Mercedes, or like my name is Steven. I had a black guy and who was good shit. His name was Stefan. And I knew this dude for months and months and months before I realized Stefan was Steven. I just never caught on to the fact that Stefan was Steven. That was just how he pronounced it. And it actually was one day I was chatting with him. And he said, well, it's because we're both Stevens. I'm like, what do you mean, Stefan? And I thought about it, I'm like, Jesus Christ. I've been calling this dude Stefan for the last, 3 months because I didn't realize that Stefan was Steven. Erica. Yeah, I agree with that too. Yeah, John, I don't think anybody's going to call you Shooter's Wanks. We're all going to know you as John. So, not a sponsor. You said you found a pistol match, didn't you, in your area? A steel challenge or something? So I'm like literally minutes away from the downtown in the city I live. I live just on the other side of a bridge from where downtown starts. So real centrally located in the city. But there's an amphitheater, 4 blocks down and across the river, and they had rap all day, man. And not like the good rap, but it was like, I don't even want to say it because no matter how I say it, it's going to sound like I'm being racist. But it was rap that I would never listen to. And man, that shit was so long. It went on for like 12 hours today. What? You didn't hear that shit today?
Yeah, it was a guy in the corner.
No. They had the amphitheater. They had fucking like 12 different fucking bands there from all over Florida, Chicago, fucking Los Angeles. It was on. Yeah, look it up.
Okay. When we were walking around earlier, it was
That
on the
was
corner.
with Leroy too.
But been swamped with work. Yeah. Get out and do some shooting, man. It's you got to make them sacrifices, right? You're gonna be a gun tuber. You got to get range footage. I saw some of Ammo's footage. I missed him when he came in here earlier, but I was watching some of his range footage earlier. I don't know what they're saying. Hey man, I listen to some rap too. I'm not gonna say I don't. I mean, any song, if it's got a good beat and it's got a good story, you know, uh, I'll listen to it. I don't mind it. I'm not big on just what was that eggplant song? Eggplant, or some bullshit like that. I can't listen to stuff like that. That just makes me want to punch a baby in the face. But I'll listen to most anything. I I'm not a big one for the screaming heavy metal, but I like Korn. I like, you know, Slayer. I like some of that stuff. Not all of it, but a lot of it. I like classical. I like blues. I like R&B. I like some rap, some country. You know. Yeah, no, I agree with that. Old school rap, you're talking like LL Cool and Ice Cube and Ice T. That type of old school, or are you talking like Eminem and Nelly and Lil Wayne? Yeah, NF is it's all Christian rap. I'm familiar with them. With him, I should say.
Hey, is not a sponsor talking about NF?
That's what his message says, Miss Harley. Uh-oh.
He's my favorite rapper of all time and favorite singer.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
got some good music. But it tells a story, right?
It does. It tells a story about life. And I really like his music.
Easy. Yeah, you can't forget Easy and NWA. I did forget him, honestly, until you said that, but, you know. Yeah. I like Jelly Roll, too. I've been listening to Jelly Roll since he got out of prison. Way, way back. People used to give me shit for listening to him, and now they all listen to Jelly Roll. Dude, that's awesome, Shed. I do that every once in a while. I go clean out like under our bed or something. I find guns I forgot I owned. It's always cool. Or I go through and I'll be looking for something, so I'll be checking gun cases and I'll come across shit I forgot I bought. It's always like you take $20 at the end of winter and put it in your coat pocket because you forget it's there, and then in the fall you get it and you're like, oh man, past Steve was looking out for future Steve and he threw a $20 in the pocket. Last Steve was looking out for future Steve and he threw a really badass PCC in this gun case and forgot about it. Well, yeah, NF is good,
That's a good one. Oh, not a sponsor. That's not a sponsor question. Not a sponsor. Have you ever listened to The Search by NF? That's a good one.
It's a good one.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I like that one a lot. That's a good one.
Yeah.
Oh, The Search. Yeah.
Leave Me Alone. Yeah, that one's a good one too.
Mhm.
There's a bunch of good stuff there, and depending on how you grew up or what your childhood is, or even maybe who you are as a parent, some of that stuff can kind of hit you a little bit. But it's real music, it's dude speaking from his soul, same with Jelly Roll. Not so much now, but some of his older stuff, especially, he was telling a story, and you can appreciate that. Struggle Jennings too. I like Struggle Jennings. KJ5, I'm not familiar with him. But gentlemen, I've kept you for, I don't know, hour and a half. So it's 11 o'clock on a Saturday night. Not a sponsor. You should eat your burrito, wash your ass, so you can feed Mama breakfast in the morning. Shadow, I appreciate you hanging out. John Wanks, or Shooter Wanks, whatever you're going by now. I always appreciate seeing you, man. You're always a good guy. I enjoy you hanging out. I think everybody else is probably gone, but if you're not, Yukon, I know not a sponsor. I appreciate you. Like I said, always. I know I'm missing people, and I apologize for it, but I appreciate you guys coming and hanging out and chatting. I do enjoy it. So with that, I'll say thank you one more time. I wish you guys the best tonight. Hope you enjoy Mother's Day tomorrow. Make sure y'all tell your mom you love her and give her a hug if she's still with you. If she's not, I feel for you. So with that, I'll talk to y'all later.